Dawson's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Writer here. Today's video is going to be my first idea talking about how I would adapt the most recent Sentai series Boom Boomger into Power Rangers. I say first video because this is being recorded right around when it premieres, so obviously we're very early days, and this is just a very early general fun idea. There's also a lot of other Sentai series that I haven't covered for this series yet. You know, I've actually gotten quite a few requests for King Ohger. I've been kind of working on the King Ohger one in the background. Actually been kind of enjoying that one, but like every time I was ready to maybe record the video, something new would happen in King Ohger, so I would just have to add to it. And I wanted to wait and do that one where I can jot everything down, since now that the series is complete, there's a lot of things I want to make sure I include in that video. Whereas this one, I just had an idea that I was in particular psyched out of my mind about. Not really, I just have been enjoying the Boom Boomger hype, and I had this kind of fun idea, and I thought, why not make this video first, because it doesn't require notes or anything like that. But the King Ohger one will be next, and I will inevitably cover the other ones that I have missed. But that's enough preamble. I promise. The real topic of the video is coming soon. This is just going to be a general kind of core premise idea. I will likely do at least one other video talking about my adaptation idea when we get further into the series. If I'm really excited by something, maybe midway through, but much like with King Ohger, I might wait till the end. So, with this idea, there is going to be one similar element to this to my King Ohger adaptation, which is having it take place in a different world than any of the usual Ranger worlds, mainly because I'm interested in the idea of exploring Power Rangers worlds, like within the multiverse, that react or make use of the Morphing Grid or Rangers in different ways. So this is a world where it's kind of a mostly peaceful world. It's not like there's no wars or whatever or anything, but no like Ranger wars or conflict. The Morphing Grid has been discovered and it's been used for various tech and help and all that stuff, but the primary way Rangers have presented themselves in this dimension is in an entertainment show, and that enters our core 3 Rangers that are called, this is a dumb name, it's one of the few I've actually thought of a name of. All these adaptations I haven't really done names that I can recall, but is Power Rangers, they're the Morphin Racers. And so it's these core 3, and they're basically entertainers, and they put on this huge show because they have the access to this, you know, morph ability where they're kind of not invulnerable, but you know, you can do some pretty sick stunts when you're not going to get hurt so easily. So that's why they're also silly too, because they're meant to be this like entertaining, fun thing for like all ages, especially kids and stuff. So they put on these huge shows with these suits and all these gadgets and these Zords having these huge, like, you know, Zord spectacle, like faux fights and stunts. It's like one of those like Sunday, get your Boom Boomger on. That's kind of the idea of what it is, and that's why the Zords exist and all the vehicles and gadgets. It's just like an entertainment show, basically. And then you also would have our little helper bot mascot. He would be a character as well, and that's kind of how the Rangers would exist in this world. Then, of course, enter an actual threat showing up, which would be the villains, and then who would defend the world but these entertainers. Now there's lots of little ridiculous things you'd have to explain away, like, well, why wouldn't they give the suits to someone more capable? And there's like all kinds of ways you can explain that. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. This is just meant to be for fun. I would maybe explain something like, oh hey, their DNA tied to the suits, or you know, they're proprietary and the owner of the created the show wants them to use it. But the idea would be that these 3 entertainers would have to step up to the plate and be the ones to defend the Earth. I think my idea would be that the 3 of them would want to for various reasons, but like the person that puts on the show would want to use it as basically publicity. And inevitably some sort of government organization would come in and say, look, okay, we'll allow you to use these suits to help fight and protect Earth, but like in exchange, you gotta share the tech with us and allow us to have a couple members of our team on your team. And that's where the Black and Orange Rangers would come from. So the idea would be that red, blue, and pink are the entertainers, and orange and black are the professionals that are sort of there to help the Rangers learn how to actually fight and sort of keep things more professional in a way. Not like the other Rangers are going to be silly, but you know what I mean. They don't necessarily know what they're doing. But the idea would be that these Rangers wouldn't necessarily be completely incapable, because they are like entertainer stunt performers, so they would be able to translate some of those skills. I think I like the idea that Pink would find this really exciting, kind of like the Pink Ranger in Boom Boomger seems to be excitable, and she would basically view it as a lot of fun, and she would actually be pretty good at being a Ranger, and she would kind of treat it like a performance, but actually be good at fighting, and then maybe have an arc or something later where she discovers that she should take it a little more seriously because her life is in danger. I like the idea of Blue being kind of like the coolest customer in town, where he's like really confident about everything, but struggles the most with anxiety when everything gets real. And I think Red would be the driving force behind sort of wanting the team to prove themselves. And there also is a meta element to that, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. As far as the Black and Orange Rangers, I would have it set up so that the Black Ranger would act as a pseudo-mentor to the core 3, more susceptible to helping them and be more kind to them and helpful, whereas Orange would kind of be like, why are we babysitting these twerps? I'm just going to fight off on my own, kind of have an attitude about it, but of course he would ultimately come around. So those are kind of the core cast basics, like the setup for what the Rangers are and what their characters would be like. And you know, like the government or whatever organization being involved would also explain where some of the new gadgets would come from, like mainly the auxiliary mecha that seem a little bit more combat oriented maybe. I think I would like to try to have a mix where some of the new stuff that's introduced would be introduced by the government in collaboration with like the entertainment company or whatever, but then some of it would maybe be by the entertainment company. Like maybe this more police-esque form we get for the auxiliaries would be obviously a military one, or not military, but the government organization created, but maybe like the night one was actually part of the act, the entertainment act, when they did like a medieval themed night, and now they're repurposing it for battle. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about in regards to this adaptation idea is the meta element, which would be, the idea would be part of the narrative that I think Red in particular, who wants to prove himself, wants to prove to the world that these guys can be taken seriously to defend them. Like initially, of course, when they come up to the play, a lot of people will be like, these idiots, these are the heroes that are supposed to save us? They're a bunch of clowns that perform for us. And so there would be kind of a long-running arc about him wanting to prove to the public that they can be taken seriously. And I would kind of want that to be presented as a meta thing, both kind of commenting on how silly the suits look in a way, kind of being self-aware about it, and also kind of a meta-commentary on the way that the general audience views Power Rangers. Like, they're definitely viewed as lesser heroes. Like, when you think about other superheroes here, and like the way, there's some that are sillier than others, but by and large, even the sillier ones are taken more seriously as MMPR. Like, MMPR and Power Rangers, period, are looked at like as less than, as a joke. And I think there would be a little bit of a meta-narrative there about these Power Rangers literally having to prove that. So yeah, that's my initial idea. Again, I will probably do an update video when we get later in the series. I don't know whether I'll stick with the same idea, or maybe watching Boom Boomger will have me thinking of different ideas, but I will definitely do at least one more of these. But I kind of had this fun idea in my head and wanted to present it to you guys, but don't worry, all 1.5 of you that are worried. The King Ohger one is going to come next. I am going to cover the ones that I haven't done before. I don't think I've done ToQger, I don't think I've done yet, and 98 others. At least I haven't done ToQger, but King Ohger has been one that I've actually gotten a few requests for, and I have been working on that in the background, so that will be the next one. But let me know what you guys thought of this idea, and if you still like me doing these videos, maybe I'll do some even for the old Showa series and stuff like that. So until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for all my videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.